is made possible by a grant from Mobil Corporation.
Good evening. I'm Gene Shalit. Welcome to Mystery. And we're off. Off for the first of 3 thoroughbred tales of the racing game, based on the best-selling novels of Dick Francis. Francis is the famous former English jockey turned mystery writer. His novels have been hugely successful around the world for 20 years and have already sold more than 10 million copies. The milieu of his mysteries is the tough and tumble world of British horse racing. He himself rode more than 2,000 mounts before he quit steeplechasing, or chasing steeples. In the beginning, you know, a church steeple was the finish line. That's how they got the name. Francis quit because of 10 concussions, 12 broken collarbones, that is, 1 collarbone broken 12 times, a fractured skull, 5 broken noses, that is, 1 nose broken 5 times, and he finally chucked it after he had been chucked by 1 horse too many. After all, there are only so many hurdles a person is willing to handle before he is spurred to quit. So he turned to writing, and he has enriched mystery literature because he knows racing backwards and forelock. Dick Francis had one famous fall, or rather his horse did. In the 1956 Grand National at Aintree, that's a 4-mile-long race, one of Britain's most spectacular races, Francis was riding the Queen Mother's entry, Devonlock, and as 250,000 spectators cheered, he was 10 lengths ahead, just 50 yards to the finish line. Suddenly, the horse collapsed in the heap. It was all splayed out. To this day, it is one of racing's most mysterious events. Francis says that, oddly, that loss gave him more than any race he had ever won, because as a direct consequence, he started to write. He calls his fictional hero Sid Halley. Sid also had an accident. Sid also turns to another profession, in Halley's case, crime solver. Tonight, a tale of recurring racecourse accidents that do not seem accidental. Appropriately for a steeplechase, the course doesn't seem on the level. As we will now see in tonight's mystery, it is called Odds Against. And so ends the first of 3 Dick Francis mysteries. Next week, Trackdown. Until then, and probably after then too, I'm Gene Shalit for Mystery. Good evening.
Mystery is made possible by a grant from Mobil Corporation. Mystery is made possible by a grant from Mobil Corporation.
Good evening, I'm Gene Shalit with another Dick Francis mystery. Tonight's racetrack tale is called Trackdown, and Trackdown is also the name of our hero's new partnership. Our heroes, Sid and Chico, are hired to hike over hill and dale to dig for data. Specifically, they are at a loss to explain why a certain Mr. Beater's horses are beaten. Capital horses nudged by lowercase nags. Tonight we leave the world of steeplechase. Tonight's horses are barned and bred for flat racing, which is what we have in America. In England, the ponies pursue purses that are relatively small. Owning racehorses is an expensive hobby. Well, Jack Beater can afford it. He's a self-made millionaire, a scrappy scrap iron magnate from whom it does not pay to steal. Tonight, Sid gets a helping hand. Literally, Sid is fitted for an electronic wrist and hand. He becomes sort of bionic. And this gadget is not just a piece of fictional fancy. Actor Mike Willem wore an actual $3,000 myoelectric hand. As Sid Halley, he's first confused, then frustrated by the device, but finally he comes to grips with it. Tonight, keep an eye on dapper Tom Mansfield, who is described as a professional punter. Now, Tom's not a football place kicker. He is a full-time gambler, unmarried to a piffling dish named Trish. We meet this couple now in jolly mood as our story begins at Jack Beater's Merry Christmas party. So, it was the winning. And just to reassure you, because I really don't want to answer all the letters, I am assured that the horse portraying New Year Lad was not injured and he was not shot, except by the cameras. Next week, what I consider the best of the Dick Francis mystery dramas, Gambling Lady. Until then, I'm Gene Shalit. Good night. Good evening. I'm Gene Shalit. Welcome to another evening of mystery. Tonight, the last of the self-contained racing game stories. The program you'll see in the Trice is, I think, the best of this thrice-told tale. Not to play favorites, but the story, it's called Gambling Lady, the story courses cunningly between mistaken identity and high-stakes grand larceny. It's all confoundingly clever. So, as the clues pile up, keep track. The plot is off to a runaway start with the horse leaving the track and heading straight for a truck. His name is Torcellino, and he has been insured for 40,000 pounds. And that is a lot of insurance. Meanwhile, at the race course, we meet the gambling lady herself, a countess who can't count out the 100-pound notes fast enough. But notice one thing. You will not see her betting at American-style windows because in England, the tracks are peopled with individual legal bookmakers, independent businessmen who take bets as they see fit. There's a small tax levied on the bookies, but still, the prize money is tiny by United States standards. And that is why author Dick Francis thinks that English bookmaking system should be done away with. And I'm sure the feeling is pari-mutual. Incidentally, in the course of shooting the racing game, the producers filmed on location at racetracks with names that remind us there'll always be in England. Names like Plumpton and Newton Abbot. They even sponsored a special race called the Dick Francis Stakes. All of this while Dick Francis himself was finishing his 18th novel. He claims that he starts the book every January and races to an April 30th finish. I doubt that you've suspected, by the way, that Mike Willem, who portrays Sid Halley, is a fine young classical actor. Well, suspected or not, he is. He's been a member of England's Royal Shakespeare Company for 5 years, and not long ago he played Lear in New York, in Denver, and in Omaha. But now, as the British jockeys say, let's line up for the off. That is, off to Gambling Lady.